All right.
All
right, Matthew McConaughey, all right.
That was Indian Matthew McConaughey.
That was Indian Matthew McConaughey. All right, we're tuned in today because we're talking about optimizing your emotional environment, which is incredibly important for everything in terms of your success, because it really just, either can pull you away from where you want to go or push you. So what are the topics we're talking about, son?
So we'll be talking about actually what is your emotional environment, what constitutes an emotional environment, how do we assess it, what are the components involved, and how to optimize the environment, how to take the steps to take away the bad energy in your habits and the environment, and then how to put into the good and the ones you need. And we're also going to speak about a bit about your circle, which is a big part of your emotional environment. Real people.
And I think, so we'll first answer the first question is, what is your emotional environment, right?
What is it?
What is it? One man, one summer,
one desire,
one emotional environment. Or is there? There's a lot of different emotional environments, right? And so the emotional environment, I think, really is what makes up for your energy. And so I look at your energy as being affected in many different ways, which we're going to talk about, right? But basically, a good example is if you look at a dark, gloomy horror movie and you look at a full comedy, full uplifting, positive movie, right? Like what environments, what influences do those people have on them? What do they look like? And so...
What's the settings around them? How do they perceive the world?
Exactly.
The horror movies world is all grim and dark. There's this comedy movies all sunny and all the characters in there are like happy and stuff. Whereas a horror movie, everybody has a past and this house has been haunted. I guess it sets the whole tone, and you can set your whole tone for your whole life with carefully assessing these environments, crafting them, and that's what we're gonna speak about in the whole thing.
Yeah, I think really that was perfect summed up, and I think it's all about to put this into an even simpler context, anything that enters your mind and has the ability to influence you in a positive way or in a negative way.
Yeah.
And so really, your emotional environment can be coming from many different things that can affect you, good or bad. So what, how do we sort of look at that emotional environment and assess it and find out, is it good or is it bad?
Yeah, I think before we assess that, we should know what are the different points where things affect us emotionally. It's not only how you feel inside, the outside. How you feel inside is a bigger battle we speak later on, but the external things, how you can control things around you, is one of them is music. What kind of music you listen to, if you listen to a lot of dark rock music, or if you listen to really angry, aggressive, I do at training, but but what kind of music you listen to sets the tone. I remember listening to Linkin Park a lot when I was,
'cause in the end it doesn't even matter.
I was breaking the habit, one of my favorite. I'm breaking the habit. That's a very, very bad song singing.
No, it was so good.
But it was setting my tone for the day and my emotional whole trigger. I used to listen to those songs, and this song, one of the parts says I'm open in my room, it's tearing me apart again. And then I had no fucking worries in my life. I was living in my parents' house, I didn't have to pay bills or anything, but I listened to that song and I just make up problems and I just think of those problems.
It was literally it just sort of it sucked you into that world, and you were living into the world of that song.
That world becomes attractive to you because those songs, you want to resonate to them, but if you don't have it, you don't cultivate them. So that's...
Whoa. I like what you just said, actually. Let's put that as a tool. So basically, whatever you've got in front of you, whatever you listen in terms of music or in terms of anything in life... can pull you towards it, right?
Yeah.
So why not have it something that's freaking positive as shit, so that it pulls you towards positivity if you want to be successful, listening to something that pulls you towards being successful.
Yeah, and saying that rock songs are good when you go through breakups and stuff.
By the way.
Go for 3 months of dark.
We've got a playlist ready and made.
I'll send you guys.
Hit us up.
So music is first. Second is a big, at this decade... everything. This social media has affected people's life so much, and
Social media.
everybody's happy on it, and nobody happy in real life. Everybody's miserable in real life, and you go on timelines, and everybody's happy. And when you open it, you feel like you're inefficient, you're not enough, and you get these emotions of jealousy, and then you get these emotions of this guy's doing much more than me, and this guy's, oh, he's looking great, oh, he's going on a holiday, and he's got this great partner. There's so many things involved in that, and then you don't get to feel how you want to feel for looking at those things. What did you put? Sad piano.
Yeah. Sad. That's really sad.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking sad.
But no, I get ya. I felt that was fitting. Nah, man, it's just really pulling you into a negative emotional state, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Same with news. If you're following news, and especially nowadays with coronavirus and everything, we go on the news and you just think there's gonna be a war, or there's this Trump and Biden. If you look at the American news, if you look at the Australian news.
Do me a favor. Tell me a bit about your experience, because you were.
I used to listen. This is one thing I've been personally working on, because I was listening to a lot of news myself, and wasn't helping me, wasn't adding to any of my skill set or knowledge, but was just giving me anxiety and more things like, oh, so much is wrong with the world, and nothing is.
It's like a thrilling thing that you want to listen to. Do you know what I find about these things? Like music, news, social media. There's something about it where you know it's hurting you somewhere inside, deep down. Yeah. But it pulls you to want to learn and see more of what that is. But it's like, and it just creates a vicious cycle. Yeah. You become anxious, depressed, and sad listening to this stuff. And then instead of actually seeing that it makes you want to, instead of making it you want to walk away from it, it actually creates this vicious cycle of wanting to learn more, become more sad, and then again, go even deeper.
It sucks you in. It's a dark hole. And like, I remember I wasted like 4 hours one day watching the JFK documentary and his assassination, which had no implication in my life. And
you actually walked out and said to me, "Don't ask me. I don't want to tell you. You're just gonna be sad."
Yeah, I was grim that day, and then it took me like 2 days to come over it. But it was interesting, and it sucked me in. But I should have been wiser and chose my time better into something else. So these are things we are still working on ourselves too. Awesome. By the way,
and that's the point. We're showing our vulnerable points because we are vulnerable. We're trying to teach, the methods that we're starting to learn to change ourselves to help others, right?
And another one for media is like the movies you watch, or the YouTube, even the videos you see on YouTube is also like, what's on your playlist? What are you watching?
Yeah, that's right.
Like, you can either go and watch something to improve yourself, or you can either watch something like really ridiculous or like saddening, or the documentaries you watch on TV. That's also putting on your emotional environment as well. Like, massive. Are you watching the Ted Bundy murder documentary? Are you watching those false incarcerations one, which if you can't do anything to change it, knowing that information is just gonna give you more negativity in yourself. That's true. Rather than you can watch something that can help you maybe feel brighter and be more productive during the day, maybe watching an arts documentary, that's stuff like that. Rather than giving the points, these are the main things, like your music, your social media, your news, the YouTube podcast you listen to, and another big one is your real circle, which I'll let Jeremy explain about it later. Yeah. Because that's a very big one, but these are all the stimulus around us, which is actually affecting our emotional state. No, that's right. And we don't give enough importance to them, which we definitely should.
I think, it becomes, it's one of those things where we just become out of tune, and you get used to feeling shitty. You get used to feeling all of these negative emotions, upset, angry, anxious, depressed. And so you don't even see it as a problem anymore. And so you don't even remember it's the source, right? Yeah. So like, as an example is, when you have that day of feeling really positive and everything, right? If you take a look back at that day, you probably realize that you took away a lot of that stimulus, right? Unless you teach yourself to actually be able to handle that, which is meditation, all that stuff. And that's another subject, right? Yeah. But the average person, I put it like in the diet, right? So now that I know I have to avoid all of these processed, real refined rubbish, I now eat healthy. If I now go and have one day of eating shit, I know because I know what my normal is.
Yeah.
And so it's very obvious. But to most people, it is not obvious because they're stuck in the loophole. Stuck in the matrix.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So until you can understand that you're in the matrix, then you're stuck in it. And so I think this is where it comes down to assessing it, right?
Yeah, I think accessing and like after every interaction with these things, how did you feel after listening to this music? How did you feel after listening to this news? How did you feel? Following this influencer, how do you feel? Like if you're following Dan Bilzerian all the time, dude, I was following Dan Bilzerian. I actually unfollowed that guy.
I believe that with all my being and all my core.
And it's like, what? He has so much money and he does nothing, just play poker. And like, it's good to follow people who have everything, but who have like
ambition,
something to
purpose.
Learn from too. Like, you can't learn much from him. I'm not saying he's a bad guy or anything, but for me, personally, I couldn't learn anything from him.
Yeah.
Except objectifying more women. That's his choice, whatever he's doing. And those are the girls' choice, whatever they're doing. I'm not going to comment on it. Yeah. But as to take in any feedback from him.
By the way, privacy policy states that... No, I'm kidding. Just make sure we're saying no indemnifications.
No, he's great at what he does. He's a great poker player and he's a great marketer. If you want to learn a different route of marketing, you can learn that from him. Like, it's a very different route, which is one of... An Indian celebrity, Sahil Khan, is following. A lot of celebrities are following the same route which he's been doing to get the attention, like sex salesman, and then he knows that, and that's what he's using.
That's right.
So, if it doesn't add to you, and if you're not able to learn something from something, just chop it out.
Yeah, 100%. So now, okay, we understand. So it's about being aware. We're like, okay, I'm on social media, I'm getting jealous, I'm scrolling through and I'm seeing pictures of people that are in a place that I want to be and I'm not, or maybe I hate that person, they're posting something.
They're full of, some people are full of and then they're putting like
sugarcane filled candy is what you were going to say. Yeah.
And then you follow and then you see their feed and they're all pretentious and then it just makes you feel not good about like, what's this? So just ignore it and then choose. Right. We were in a push communication before, like when you used to sit down and you have to watch what's on the TV and you had to see that. But now we have the pull communication. We can take what we want from the world. Exactly. So we can take from Instagram, like one of the examples that I do, what we spoke about last time was I follow hashtags which I want to learn from. So I'll follow those instead of all these people. So I follow less people and I follow more hashtags.
Perfect.
So I'm pulling the information from there. On the TV, if I'm Netflix, I'll probably spend more time finding what to watch than actually watching something.
We're the same.
I'll find like more time like, oh, how is this thing? I'll read it quick about it and then find out what I want to watch and then I'll pull that into my own. Because I'm giving my conscious attention to it.
Right.
So I want to pull it, watch information, take that, and then use it.
I think a good way to look at it is as I always look at everything and say, hey, would I like to live the life of the music I'm listening to? Would I like to live the life of the social media accounts I'm following? Would I like all of this? Yes, no, or the other. And so if it's something that I gravitate to and I follow and I want to be a part of, then hey, that's where I'm going to go, right? And if it's not, well then if I understand that, hey, I'm listening to Eminem, which I used to freaking when I was depressed, Eminem.
Whatever you say, I am.
And so I don't want to be, at the time I thought I wanted to be an aggressive son of a gun. That's because of my internal emotions that was all wrong and twisted. But now looking back, I'm like, I don't want to be aggressive. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be objectifying. I don't want to be all those things. So I want to listen to it. And so I listen to everything that is going to push me up, right? So I think that wraps it up enough in terms of like understanding, hey, what's your emotional environment like in terms of, what's on your phone, anything that you can access on your phone, on your TV, anything that goes into your mind, into your brain. So talking about it as people. People access your mind more than anything.
That's a huge factor about your emotional state.
Why did you hold back on that huge? That, to me, was something that was holding me back for a long time. And I didn't, here's the kicker though, I knew it inside and everyone knows it, we all know it. I didn't want to accept it. Because one of my old time best friends was also a trigger point for me. When I used to hang around him, he, as much as I was the influence too,
Yeah.
but being around him,
Brings that side of you out.
yeah. And I was a person you didn't want to be around. I didn't want to know. I hate thinking that was me. In fact, yesterday I was looking through, I was making up some files because, for my coaching, right? I was writing out some programs. And so I had to insert some images, and Google Images, how they've got the photos.
Yeah.
And so I accessed that to upload a photo. And I saw some of them yesterday, and I'm like, whoa, that was some good times. But then I'm like, oh, no, they weren't. They weren't. So you know what I had to do with this guy? I had to realize, I'm like, wait a second. Me being around him, and this goes with everyone, family, anything, everyone. Yeah. Family's a big one, big topic, but let's skim through that. So I asked myself when I was around him, I had to keep asking, when I'm around him, okay, is that good for me or is it bad for me? Does it help me become closer to where I want to be or not? And the way I asked myself that was, hey, if I'm around him for the next 5 years, will I be the person I want to be? Or will he help me be the person I want to be? Or being around him, will that slow me down?
Yeah.
Clearly the answer was slowing me down, right? And so I said to myself, I have to cut him off. Now, here's when it starts to become hard, right? I actually went up to him and I told him straight up. And I said, bro, you know what you're like to me? You're like crackers and dip. And he's like, what? And at the time, my analogy was when I ate crackers and dip, that was something that set me off. Like when someone touches sugar?
Yeah.
They touch sugar, all of a sudden they flip the house down, try and shake it for any other food that's in there. When I used to have crackers and dip, I'd look for everything else in the fridge. And so I told him, I'm like, brother, when I'm around you, unfortunately, I just start doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
And so I told him straight up, and he was a man and he understood it. He didn't like it, he understood it, and I appreciated it. But it's not always that easy. Sometimes you have to wean off. Sometimes you have to slow down and back it off and say, you know what, okay, I'm going to slowly step away from texting them.
Yeah, I think you can also, that's for the older people, like the people you're already in your life. So for them, you need to maneuver how you either bring them up to on your level, which you are, if you can. And if you can't, then you're going to have to still keep going. So if they're not
That's right.
contributing to that emotional environment you want, then you probably cannot have a sustainable friendship with them.
No, that's right.
And for the new people coming in your life, like even when I'm at work and if I'm talking to my colleagues or if I'm like talking to a client, a lot of my clients become my friends, but how I take them is, if there's a very famous saying like small minds discuss people, average mind discuss events, and great minds discuss ideas.
Oh yes.
So if I'm speaking to someone who has some ideas, wants to implement something, and is like eager to do more stuff, learn more stuff, I'll be more interested in having that person in my group rather than someone who's just bitching and watching someone's, even like talking about Hollywood stars and like all these movie stars and everything is kind of like
gossip, TV stars,
speaking
real
about,
of hell.
Kim Kardashian, what happened to her life? How the fucking matters to you?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how I started looking at, like, even at my colleagues, clients as well, like who are a good contribution to work with. Even when I do freelancing, I'm taking in the clients who I can mentally align with, rather than someone who is like, you won't get along and then it won't be a pleasureful journey.
Yeah, I gotcha. So, yeah, I do that too. I start to assess, I'm like, hey, go in my work environment. Okay, I'm reading this person's patterns. And if I don't like their patterns and they don't align with mine, I choose to spend as little time as possible around them. Yeah. And the people that I say, hey, this guy's, like, I like this guy's vibe. I like things about him. He's a positive guy. He doesn't gossip. He talks about, ideas. He talks about building himself up, his business, his physique, everything in his life. It's all about building, rather than the people that tear things down, like business, talk bad about things, talk bad about people.
Yeah.
I make sure that, hey, okay, stay away from him. Put my time here. But the tough thing, you were going to say something. I felt it. The tough thing is, I think, family.
Yeah, that's a very tough one.
And so I have got people in my family where, hey, you know what? Family or not, like, I love you very much, but I'm not going to spend time with you. Now, I don't cut you off completely and say, hey, you're out of my life. But I'm also not going to put the effort in to go and spend time with you. Like, I try and help them. I always do my best to say, can I put you in a better place? Can I help you get there? And if I feel like they're just taking and draining away from my energy, I just say, well, I'm not going to invest my time there. Yeah. And so When they come to me for help, always there, always to help. But however, I don't put my energy and my effort into spending time with them because, in fact, they're more destructive than your friends because they're family.
Yeah.
You know, is there a way? Do you have anything like this as an experience?
I have on friends, family, everywhere. I come across now as very not funny anymore because I used to be very funny and I used to have a lot of fun, and now I want to see where I'm going, and I want to be in the driver's seat where I'm going. So I cut out a lot of bullshit from my life, and from that, like family and best friends, close friends, you're not able to communicate with a lot of them because your ideas don't go along. And you don't have to please everyone all the time. So that's something you're gonna have to make peace with. You just need to please yourself. If you're not happy with yourself, no one will be happy with you. So
nice.
We work on. I'm trying to like do the best I can be. And if other people in my life can't be in my life, with my vision, then that's not meant to be in that journey. Because imagine waking up and then you doing things and calling people, speaking to them, and then you have this great idea, you call someone and they're like, oh, that's fine, but you should
shut you down.
And then
she shut me down, bang bang.
You're thinking of this, and then I speak of, oh, we should learn this and we can do this, and then they're like, oh, I don't have time, I don't have any, like excuses and like negative mindset.
Great way to put it. If you are ever around someone that shoots your ideas down without even talking about them with you, no good. They are not going to contribute. Now, we're not always going to say, hey, fantastic idea. Sometimes you'll come up with the dumbest thing. Like, I don't know what dumb idea you can come up with, but I'm sure there are plenty. We all have. I do still on a daily basis. But when I speak to someone, I know when I speak to you, sometimes I say some things and like in my mind, I see maybe it works, but you know it doesn't. And so you don't just cut me off and say, dude, are you stupid? Like that is not going to work. What you do, we had something this morning, right? And I just mentioned with you, but I feel free enough to open it with you because I know that you're going to say, all right, bro, so let's look at the maths. You know, if you do this, this may happen, this may happen. Do you think that's the best thing?
Yeah.
So really, if people are just cutting you off straight away, they're stopping you from going there, and they don't actually have a genuine chat to see how can I build you up, then they're actually tearing you down in a way. So I think the main theme of all this is awareness, right? The main theme is being aware of, is this helping me? Is this hurting me? So let's wrap this up.
So what are some actionable steps we can take for this? Well, the first is we need to assess our environment and then see what am I listening to, what media am I pulling inside, and what people do I have in life, and after the interactions with these, how do I feel, and what you need to. I'm actually reading from my thing.
Go on.
So,
we don't want to stuff this up, boy, do we?
And actually, this is the one I keep forgetting to tell people, to set a pace for your habits, for things you want to change. If you change it straight up, like I do these things, you try to change all of things at once, you create a vacuum. So you can't create a vacuum. Before you change all of these things, go with one by one. Maybe start with the music, start with the TV shows you watch, and then start with the social media, and do one thing at a time. So you adapt to that new personality that you want to cultivate and the new emotional environment, so you can fit in there. It's like you're watching a movie and it's all horror and gloomy. Next scene is all sunny and this. That's a transition. So you transition slowly and come into it so it feels natural to you, and in that environment you're more comfortable.
So give me an example.
So like if your whole music list, if you want to change, or your whole watch list on YouTube, if you want to change, start with just one thing rather than changing your music, your YouTube, your social media, the people, everything all together. Pick one thing. I want to fix this thing. Maybe the music, the podcast I'm listening to, I can listen to something that can teach me. So I take this 20 minutes and start this, and then start doing that. Nice.
And so now we've gone through, you're chopping that out and you're adding new things, right? So you want to look, you're setting the pace though. You're not just being silly and changing everything at once.
Yeah.
Okay. But then we actually start going through that and we start evaluating, right?
Yeah.
So now we start going at a really good way to do it is every week. Now, every week is just to simply start asking yourself the questions on a Sunday night. Hey, how have I been going this week? Have I been doing things this week that have been contributing to my, personality or not? And so you just start rating yourself and say, where do I feel like I'm lacking? And start looking, music, social media, people around you, news, anything, electronic devices, where are you hurting and not. And so to recap this real quick is, okay, so you make your checklist.
Yep.
Yeah. On
Assess
all those
first and then make the checklist.
Make your checklist.
Yeah.
Right. And then we go to actually tracking how you feel.
After those interactions, after
Correct.
watching that show, after listening to the music, how you feel, make checklist, track your interaction, and then start a plan, phasing out slow, one by one. Pick up one habit that you want to change, one environment thing you want to change.
And then you start to remove those things which you find are not helping you. And then as a replacement, we always add something in there, slide it underneath, something that is actually going to be helping you. And then, of course, we keep evaluating, keep doing it. This doesn't have to be a set time. It's just, hey, what am I at now? How am I doing? And I think it's as simple as that, man. I love it. I love it. Guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll put this in the show notes as well, the actionable steps. So if you want to just recollect it quickly.
Done. 110%.
And
100.
10%.
No. 110%.
And, okay, I'm sorry.
We're the 1%ers. All right, guys. We'll see you on our next episode.
Ciao.
Thanks
for listening.